The following is a production of DallasCowboys.com and the Dallas Cowboys Football Club.
How about them Cowboys?
Go Cowboys! This is Girls Talk, Boys Talk, presented by Jigsaw Dating, preferred dating partner of the Dallas Cowboys, and broadcasting live from Dallas Cowboys World Headquarters at the Star. Now, your hosts, Christy Scales, Aisha Morrison, Nicole Hutchison, and Jess Navarez.
Welcome into Girls Talk, Boys Talk, presented by Jigsaw, the preferred dating partner of the Dallas Cowboys. I'm Nicole Hutchison alongside Aisha Morrison and the marvelous Jess Navarez. Both of you guys are marvelous. I didn't say that about. I'm sorry, Aisha. You were amazing.
Oh no! Why did she get amazing? I get marvelous.
Oh my goodness! I just remembered. I forgot to say something before
I gotta
Aisha's
get better
name.
at this
So
turning
okay.
around
You know,
thing.
make it even. You know,
I gotta get better at this thing. All right,
ladies, how y'all feeling? Y'all good?
Oof.
Great day today.
It's cloudy.
It's cloud.
I think we feeling the day because it's all gloomy outside.
Yeah.
so gloomy.
Mm-hmm.
I mean,
The weather outside is dictating the vibe for sure.
I feel like the vibe. I think the
The
vibe was a little
fire is
better
so
in the
delightful.
locker room, though, right?
Don't do that because I love me some Christmas time.
Favorite holiday? Christmas?
I mean, I didn't. My family didn't celebrate Christmas growing up. But I just like the way it feels.
Yeah.
Besides the debt, the stress, and all that stuff, seasonal depression. Everything else
Oh man,
is great. Do you know that that's like one of the high? This is it's one of the peak times for that. Like
Yep.
you got to check on your loved ones.
because the days are shorter.
It's a
Less
rough
daylight.
time of year for a lot of people, psychologically and emotionally and mentally.
That makes
Check on
sense.
your people. But other than that, I like the lights and the food and the tamales.
Oh, tamales! Don't get me started.
Okay. Well, ladies, I mean, the vibe was better today here at the Star, right?
Yes.
We got a
Good
couple
vibes.
more days until finally back at home, get some action between the Cowboys and the Rams. Let's just talk about, we heard from head coach Mike McCarthy. Jess, I mean, what were some of your takeaways from head coach Mike McCarthy?
Well, first of all, healthy team, right? We're
Yeah.
talking post-bye health. Hello. Healthy team. That is the shortest injury report I think I've ever seen in my life there today. And so, yeah, what I got out of Mike McCarthy this morning is everybody's well rested. Everybody's recharged, and they're mentally in a good place. That's what I got from McCarthy. That's what I got, the consensus, in the locker room as well. And so something that I really liked, kind of made my ears perk up, was he was talking about how he approaches the bye week as a coach. And some people could disagree with this, and that's okay. To each their own if they disagree with it. But he talked about, when it comes to home games and what he does differently is he doesn't require the guys to stay in a team hotel. And I think that says so much without saying a lot. I think when you get into that and you really dive deep, it says there's trust, mutual trust between coach and player. And he said a big thing for him that Marty Schottenheimer showed him was a really big aspect is allowing guys to sleep in their own beds when they have the ability to do that. I love that he prioritizes them mentally, physically, everything. So I thought that was a little interesting nugget going into this home game
Yeah, I think that's
on
pretty
Sunday.
cool.
Surprised they're humans. They're people. They like
Whoa, no way.
to sleep in their bed.
Right? Are they?
They're humans?
Wow.
Really?
We didn't know that.
Wow, shocking.
I think obviously everything they just said, that stuff stuck out to me. But in regard to like the matchup, and what's coming up this week, he kind of he alluded to the fact that schematically there's a lot of similarities between the Chargers. And then the Rams and also the 40, like he didn't say that, but me looking at it, it was like, oh, okay, yeah, he's right. That there being some similarities in these last few teams that they played. And I do think that those things will kind of help them prepare for this game this week. And I know we're going to get into it.
Yeah, most definitely. I think, of course, for me, it was the fact that they get to be back home, right, since the Patriots game. So I know they're really excited about that. He talked about the preparation and how, the flow into the game finally gets to be back to normal. Their liking, like you mentioned, Jess, they get to sleep in their own bed, so that's pretty awesome.
Who doesn't
I
love
didn't,
sleeping in
I
their
didn't
beds?
realize this until yesterday we was on the show, and I was like, dang, they have been on the road a lot to
Yeah.
start the season,
Yeah.
so it probably will be a good change of pace for them to have some time here.
Yeah.
And they love the fact that they can play back in front of their fans.
And not
too,
to
so.
mention, the Cowboys have the longest running home game win streak in the last 10 games.
Come on, Stats.
Let's go.
Come on.
I just thought it was a fun fact.
Hey, it's a great
Come
fact.
on.
It's a
Well,
great fact,
but that's why he was asked about it this morning in the press conference of why do you perform so well at home? Why are you able to win? And he said the atmosphere, it's always competitive. Not only do Cowboys fans go to home games and travel well, but opposing fans, because why wouldn't you want to go to a Cowboys game playing your team at AT&T Stadium, right?
Yeah.
It's a whole experience in itself. And so he said it's a very competitive environment there. And, the guys would agree. You talked in the locker room, and they're excited to be back home, especially after a bye week. They're healthy. They're ready to go.
Yeah, we're going to go ahead and dive into that. As far as locker room talk, some takeaways from there. I know we got to see the guys practice a little bit. I'll start with you, Aisha. We saw, of course, Wanye Thomas. He's back and ready to go. He was also, right? I got to ask him, how's that hamstring? I know, are you fully ready to go? He was like, I'm ready to go, and just goes, a little big smile. So it was good to see him back. What were some of your highlights from today's practice that you kind of noticed?
Well, from practice, not much of nothing, because we out there for decoration at this point.
It was windy.
It was windy.
That's what I noticed.
Yeah.
But I think kind of touching base with a lot of the guys, to your point, man, listen, I was mostly in there asking what they did over the bye. I was just trying to see, how they're normally what their bodies are like, but also too, like we say, they're human. So it's just like, I didn't want to just bombard them with football questions, but I did ask a couple guys, about the upcoming matchup and stuff. And I will say that, most of the running backs are very grateful to have Blasco to have that gentleman back, their coach. It sounds like various coaches have been taking over the responsibility of trying to, fill that void for the running back room, but it's nothing like having your guy back. So sounds like those gentlemen are excited about that. Also, too, again, to the point about Mike McCarthy saying there were similarities in the Chargers schematically, I asked quite a few of the players, does that make film study a little easier, because they all come from the Shanahan type tree. So off their offenses, so there are a lot of similarities in what they do. So I was just asking them, is that something that helps with this week of preparation? And most of their sentiment was yes. Really just getting a feel for whether they've evaluated and if they've changed anything and things like that. And it does sound like they're in a good place in that way to show some different things this upcoming game.
Yeah. High spirits in the locker room. It's not an overconfidence. It's just I'm healthy, I'm recharged. A lot of the guys got to see their families, their loved ones, and that works wonders. When you're doing this day in and day out, you don't get to see it.
Yeah.
A lot of people take it for granted because you live close to your family, and if you don't, then you understand that can really wear on you. And these guys, again, shocking, they're human. And so getting to reconnect with their loved ones was one of the main things that they told me they did over the bye. I asked, mentally, are you good? Physically, you're good? Everybody's good. Everybody's healthy. Talked to Brandon Aubrey, and Brandon Aubrey is just always going to be very even-keeled. No matter what he's talking about, he cracked a joke and he smiled, and I was like, whoa.
It's like the Vising man. Vising man.
Yeah. He talked about his... where he is right now and kind of evaluating and how he spent his bye week. And it was funny. They asked him, what was harder, being a software engineer or the Dallas Cowboys kicker? He said, well, during the week, it was definitely the software engineer, but the weekends are a lot harder over here with the Cowboys. So that was really fun. Got to catch up with a lot of the guys, though, just real quick. J-Ron talked for a while. Micah, Tony Pollard, we heard from all those guys. But the biggest takeaway, Aisha, to your point, piggybacking off of Jeff Blasco's return, that's the running backs coach for the Dallas Cowboys. He's been on a medical leave of absence since week 1 of the season. Glad to see that he's back and healthy and happy and out there on the field with the guys. That was good to see. But Tony Pollard talked about the communication aspect that he brings to the room of making sure everybody's on the same page. Look, if y'all are going to communicate, count me in. Count me in on it. So I don't necessarily think there was a drop-off without him, but I think you can just make it even better with having your coach that was hired for that position, who's been with the organization for the last 4 years. He was an assistant offensive line coach last 3 years, and then this year taking over as the running backs coach. So it's good stuff.
For me, I talked to a couple of the receivers, of course, CD, caught up with B. Cooks. You were there, catching up with CD as well. Heard from Cavante as well. My thing from them that I kind of grasped was the fact that they're just trusting the process, right? And I think that's been a theme for Brandon Cooks, right? He's finally getting implemented and included in this offense, and now you're seeing like, you know, the improvements that they're making, right, against the Chargers, how they're kind of making those strides. But now it's more so just trusting the process, trusting the fact that the play calling is going to be improved, right? The offensive line change is going to improve, and then I guess that's how this whole offense improves, right? So just making this right strides. I think that they're all just finally coming together as far as trusting the process, as far as making the strides to improve this offense. So that's kind of something that I took away from them.
I mean, with the offensive line, touch base with Terrence and a couple of the guys.
Terrence got a haircut, by the way.
Yeah, he did. I was surprised. I said, bro, this is crazy. Terrence got on a do-rag like this. I wouldn't.
I had a double
is
take.
Crazy.
I had a double take. I didn't realize it was Terrence sitting over there at first. I was like, whoa.
I wasn't prepared for that. But yeah.
Looks good. It looks good.
Just kind of talk to them about the fact, you know, it is a copycat league. Going against the Rams, because Aaron Donald is really their guy.
Yeah.
They're doing a lot of stunning and stuff like that to get him open and available, to allow him to, you know, rush the passer, and or just allow other guys opportunities, honestly. And so with that, this team blitzed a lot and stuff too. Kind of wanted to talk to them and see what their communication is like, because again, you know, they had only been together for 2 weeks until this past week, and now, you know, so getting this full week of practice, hopefully for those guys and this offensive line, we'll see their communication, because their communication got to be on point with how much teams are going to continue to do that. Because I don't think teams think that they can beat the Cowboys offensive line one-on-one matchup just every snap. So they're trying to figure out ways to get to the quarterback. So kind of want to, again, that was one thing I took away from the locker room today, is talking to the offensive line. They feel like they are taking strides as far as the continuity, because they actually are getting to practice together. So, boom.
That kind of goes towards what I learned from Tyler Smith in Cowboys Hour earlier this week. He kind of touched on how Mike Solari really wants them to be like a player-led offensive line group. So I guess Solari asked them, like, what do you guys need from me in order to make sure that you guys can go out there and, you know, do y'all's job and just really improve? And Tyler was telling me how, well, we're getting a lot of unscouted looks, man. We got to start practicing this stuff on a day-to-day basis. And the way he kind of like explained it to me was just like the miscommunication they're having, which kind of leads to those mistakes. And so that's something that I know that they really have been working on. So hopefully we get a chance to see that.
Yeah, they're throwing things at them. Mike McCarthy mentioned that, is that teams are throwing defensive front looks at them that are different than what they did even the week before. And it's honestly, it's semi-respectful to know, like, they changing their whole game plan because they don't think that they can, you know, they can deal with your offensive line. So the practicing it and practicing some of the things that maybe you don't expect. I mean, I guess that is a big adjustment. I didn't even think of that, quite honestly.
He also said that they have to basically go back to like their fundamentals of making that first and second step that kind of helps you pick up where I guess the meeting point is. So it was pretty cool. You know.
I think that's something too that we've been hearing kind of across the board, is going back to fundamentals. And Mike McCarthy mentioned that in his conference call rather on Monday. He said that, you know, you don't necessarily go back because something is going wrong, but you can go back fundamentally to make sure something is going even better than what you learned before. And so I think a lot of the bye week was not only focusing on their downfalls and things that they obviously know they need to improve upon, but also going back to the fundamentals of the game, of the process, to make sure that they're growing in those ways as well. So, yeah, I'm excited. Very well charged, regrouped locker room today.
Is there a group particular that you guys are most excited about seeing improve and see the improvements come on Sunday? In particular?
You already know mine.
You have to choose one.
What's your tight ends?
Tight ends. Got to talk to Sean McKeon and then Luke Schoonmaker today. I saw Ferguson pass by in the locker room. Didn't get to talk to him, but talked to those two guys. They're refreshed. They're good. They told me some really good stuff today. So overall, it seems like they're going to get more involved, hopefully. But from what they told me, that's something obviously they're not happy with. We talked about this already. Lunda Walls isn't happy with it, not happy with the production. So maybe it doesn't happen a lot this week. You don't see a big jump, but for the progression of the second trimester, as Mike McCarthy puts it, I want to see more of that.
It's a good game to do so too. The Rams. I don't know why I want to call them the Chargers so bad.
We've been on this.
We've
been on this. It's weird bye week and then 2 LA teams.
But yeah, they
wild.
I'm not saying they struggle with defending tight ends. I'm just saying they struggle a little bit with defending tight ends. Also, too, they do a lot of cover two, just very similar to what we saw with the Chargers. So the middle of the field is open. So you do want to see your tight ends get involved and do some things. Now, to answer your question, Nicole, though, my position that I'm looking at to see improve is the running back room. It is. I think it's just very important. And again, I appreciate what those guys have done in pass pro, but you just need more from the run game. Offensive line, running backs go hand in hand, obviously, but I just think, again, the usage and the way that these guys are being able to take advantage of their opportunities. I'm hoping that this is a game where they can get after it. They can get after it and kind of get back on the right track.
All right. Well, listen, we've got more for you guys that are listening to us. We'll be breaking down the matchups. We'll also be seeing who has the advantage. We'll play a quick game coming up right after the break. You're watching Girls Talk, Boys Talk, presented by Jigsaw, the preferred dating partner of the Dallas Cowboys.
We know that juicy, cheesy, grilled to perfection burger sounds amazing, but it does sound like something is missing. Pepsi, baby! The yin to this burger's yang. Burgers and Pepsi go together like burgers and Pepsi. This perfect blending of flavors makes every bite of lettuce, every sesame seed on the bun, and every sip of that crisp, refreshing, ice-cold cola a journey to Foodtopia. Burgers, better with Pepsi. That's what I like.
At Jigsaw Dating, we obviously want the Cowboys to bring that 6th ring home. But to be honest, we're more focused on finding the person who will put a ring on your finger. That's why we created a dating app that reveals your face through meaningful conversation, so you can date deeper. Because it's personality that matters the most, not looks. Join Jigsaw Dating today, dating partner of the Dallas Cowboys.
This football season with the new Nike Bold collection, a bold collection with new accents that will make you stand out like the star that you are. Head to a pro shop near you or log on to shop.dallascowboys.com, a Fanatics experience.
The star that you are. That's actually pretty cool.
I loved that.
I like that slogan.
I loved that.
That was cute.
That was really up my alley right there, guys.
Yep. I've seen it. Just the hands.
The star that you are.
I knew we were gonna be on the same page with that. Wow,
love that.
That made me happy.
Great minds.
All right, ladies.
Jazzy
said it was mid.
Okay,
well, she said it was mid.
I guarantee you, no other podcast.
It's giving hater.
Yeah, it is giving hater.
All right, ladies. Let's go ahead. Let's go ahead and get into this quick game. Mm-hmm. We're going to see who has the advantage, right? We're going to compare the positions on each side of the ball, each team, and see who has the advantage.
Lord have mercy.
It's going to be fun.
Okay.
All right. We're going to start with the quarterback position. Dak, Matt Stafford.
Dak.
I would say Dak because Matthew Stafford is dealing with a couple of injuries. He's pretty banged up right now, so we just going to go with Dak here.
Going with Dak.
All right.
I got to say it with my chest.
Well,
Dak. I got to say it with my chest. I didn't say it with my chest.
I was quick with it.
Yeah.
Dak. Well, yeah, and to your point, Aisha, I mean, Matt Stafford, obviously, that's kind of been the talk this week is how banged up he is. Mm-hmm. And look, this edge rush is not going to give him a break this week. So, Dak. Dak's well rested. Mm-hmm. He had the bye week off as well. He's healthy. And everybody that I talked to today said that Dak's in a good place. So, Dak.
And everyone, I know that they've been posing that question to Dak. A lot of the offensive players, is Dak at his best and is his offense at his best when he uses his mobility and he makes right decisions?
And what they say? Yes.
Yeah.
Boom. Surprise.
So, expect to see a lot of that on Sunday against the Rams. All right, running back room. Pollard, they got, Kyron Williams is on IR. So, Ronnie and I believe Darrell Henderson. Let's see. So, we got Pollard and Dottle, and then for the Rams, Henderson. We got
both
Ronnie
of those
Rivers.
gentlemen, if I'm not mistaken, they're trying to get their legs under them. Both of those guys are kind of returning to football. So, and also too, it's the style of running. These guys, both of them are really downhill runners. Neither one of them is really shifty. So if we're comparing running back rooms, I do think that if Kyron was playing, there might be some conversation to be had. But because he's not there, I definitely tip my hat to the Cowboys here. But again, it's contingent on what they look like this week, because sometimes you get a lot from the run game and sometimes we be walking away like, what's going on here? So,
well, I'm going to say, of course, Cowboys have the advantage. I was looking at the numbers, and the Rams are the 21st worst defense in rushing defense. So, I'm going to go with Rico and Pollard.
yeah.
Well, I'm going to go with Rico and Pollard, but what I want to see is more Rico. Period.
Please.
Yeah.
We beg of you. If we're trying
More
to,
Rico.
like, please.
Football guys.
Yeah, no, and that's no shade to TP at all, because he's healthy. You know, he was even asked today, you know, how do you handle kind of, you're averaging less yardage per carry than you did last season. How do you handle that? And he said, I just stay patient. So it's no shade. There's nothing wrong with that. You had a 1-2 punch that worked for you before. Establish that, see if it works for you again, and build the run more than anything else. I mean, get Rico Dowdle. Don't get me started. Get Rico Dowdle more involved this week, but I'm going to take Pollard and Dowdle.
All right, receivers.
Lord have mercy.
I know, this one's a little hard.
Because Puka and Cooper Kupp are really
Insane.
a serious tandem. And don't forget about Tutu Atwell.
Yeah.
He held it down. He held it down
Yep.
while Cooper Kupp was out. They have Tyler Higbee, who's a good tight end. Sugar honey.
That was worth 2 nicknames? My gosh.
Typically I wouldn't. I think in any other instance I might give it to the Cowboys, but because the wide receiver play has been inconsistent at times, I'm gonna have to tip my hat to the Rams, because they just, I mean, one thing they gonna do is throw the ball downfield.
Yeah.
They don't care.
Yeah, well, I think they're averaging 270 yards in the year, just those three guys. And then, of course, you got the Cowboys passing defense, 177 yards they're allowing. So, battle of that, I'm going with the Rams.
I'll play devil's advocate just to do it. I'll go with the Cowboys. And here's why. They had a week off to adjust and establish what exactly they want that passing identity to be. You have a Michael Gallup that had a week to kind of go through and understand where he's at and fix it. And I think it'd be a little different if you weren't coming off of a bye week. But I think the bye week does make a bit of a change in the fact that you're healthy. You're healthier now than you're going to be for the rest of the season, because you're coming straight off the bye.
Yeah.
You're fresh. And you started to see your starting point in the Chargers game. And so as far as what the passing threat can be, getting Brandon Cooks involved, Michael Gallup's getting targeted. It's just up to him at that point to continue and finish the play. And then, you have CeeDee Lamb, who's been CeeDee Lambing, as the kids would say. Now, I'm going to take the Cowboys for this one. And it's because I think, like I said, they're starting to establish what that passing game looks like. And if you have Dak, who is getting protected and can release that ball quickly, then, I'm going to go Cowboys. But I'm playing devil's advocate just to do it.
I don't want the boys to think that I'm saying that they have a better talent.
No.
Because we can definitely, if we're comparing, I guess, about potential, definitely I'm taking our Cowboys game.
Yeah,
but
sure.
just for so far, I haven't seen the
that's fair.
consistency. Of course, I'm gonna
The
go
Rams
with
have been
Rams.
more consistent with
Exactly.
their passing threat.
Aisha, what, I guess, threat does Nakua bring?
That dude's crazy, man. Let me tell you, it's very difficult to replicate a Cooper Kupp, but for them to go out and find a guy that is literally almost like a replica of him and just a very similar player. He's so physical. I love how he deals with contact. but it's the yak ability too. And he's difficult to tackle. He has speed. I think last week he had 92 yards after catch. Excuse me?
You said 92?
92 yards after catch. This gentleman almost has 1,000 yards receiving. I think he's like third in the NFL receiving after 7 weeks. That's crazy.
Yeah.
Like what he's done and come in so unexpectedly. I know a lot of people. I missed him. Listen, I covered the draft. I have to admit, I missed him because he's so dominant. And the versatility, too, is that he can play inside. He can play outside. And when a wide receiver can do that, it just opens up their ability, and it also gives them more opportunities to be on the field. I mean, the yak ability, like I said, he's so physical at the line of scrimmage, so you got to put a body on him. And he also, too, he's very good at scrambling for his quarterback. He's a young dude, so he's going to do that. Yeah. But I've just been so impressed with his tenacity and his willingness to be there. And he's, like we talked about, to fill Cooper Kupp's shoes in his absence is not difficult. It's not easy to do, and he really did it with ease. I'm just so impressed by him, and I do think he's gonna get he's gonna make plays, y'all.
Putting a body on him though. Who do you believe is up
well,
for that challenge?
I talked to Stephon Gilmore about that today because I was asking him, when you talk about the schematics and what they like to do a lot of bunch formations and mesh, and that's basically where they line up 3 receivers on one side. And what that does is it causes conflict, especially if you're playing man. It creates those natural rub routes. It creates traffic to get guys open. And, and so I was asking Stephon, like, so with the Cowboys are a predominantly man team. Yeah. How do you, navigate that? What do you do? And he just told me you have to pick and choose your spots when you do decide to play man, because I think with these receivers, you have to get a body on them at the line of scrimmage. You got to put hands and feet on them. You got to do something to throw off their routes. Otherwise, they're gonna beat you. And they do a lot of deep crossers, deep overs, and those are some of the hardest things to defend in the NFL. It's so hard to defend. But he was just saying you got to pick and choose your spots, and also too, you just got to do it. So and those have given the Cowboys trouble. So I'm really looking to see how they adjust to that if they play more zone or if they do decide to disguise and stuff like that this next game.
Well, hopefully the Cowboys can take on that challenge. All right, let's move to the next position group, tight ends, Jake Ferguson, Tyler Higbee. Sip your tea or your coffee.
Go ahead, Jess.
Go ahead, Nicole.
Go ahead, Jen.
I think I'm gonna take. I'm gonna go with Cowboys. Ferguson, of course, can do both. He's a great pass catcher. He's also an efficient blocker. I think Higbee's more so just a great guy who can catch in space. So I think I'm gonna go with Cowboys. I'm gonna go with Jay Fergie. Sorry, I had to do that.
I'm trying to look at Higbee a little bit and see what we got on him.
Yeah, I got you. I'm gonna go Cowboys for this one, and it's because you're out. So when we're referring to trimesters, we're referring to how Mike McCarthy has broken down this season. He's broken it down into trimesters. First 6 weeks, and then we're officially in the second trimester of the Cowboys season. Yeah. And so you had that first chunk of the season to establish the blocking game from these tight ends, because that's really, and that's no shade, but that's what they've been doing the most of. The receiving threat just has not been there for this tight end group. But then again, goes back to kind of the ball distribution issue that I think is going to hopefully be resolved this week. However, when you have a Jake Ferguson, I was watching Jake at practice this morning specifically, and he's doing some extra things that I haven't seen him do individually by himself yet. He was off to the side working some individual stuff.
I peeped that too last week.
And so I'm thinking there's a plan here to get Jake obviously more involved. But again, you also have a guy like Sean McEwen, who I think is super underrated. I will stay on this heel that he is definitely more underrated than people let off to be. But he, I talked to him in the locker room for a long time. He's doing good. Luke Schoonmaker. Look, overall, I'm going this Cowboys tight end room because it's time for them to get their feet on the ground. It's not even a choice. It's you need to start being more of a receiving threat. And when you have a Jake Ferguson with that yak ability, use it.
Yep.
You need it. Use it.
Yeah, I would go there. I would say the same. Higbee is he be the odd man out low key with just how much their receivers do and stuff. And he also helps out on the offensive line often. So for me, I would definitely go with the Cowboys tight ends as far as talent and what they're capable of doing. I didn't think about the fact that maybe some of the extra blocking stuff could be because of the offensive line being kind of up and down and those guys not being, because that happens. It happens. So, yeah, I would say the Cowboys tight ends and they better come on. I'm telling you right now, y'all. I'm telling you.
Say it a little louder.
I'm telling you, and I'm telling you right now. I need these tight ends to come on
They
with
will
it.
not be real if they get it together and get more involved in it. And it's no shade to them. They're frustrated too. Here's the thing. It's no shade. They are absolutely frustrated with their lack of involvement in that aspect of the game. Because who doesn't want to get the ball?
It's a little shade, though, because it's a little shade for me, though, because quarterback been putting the ball on them in that red
catch 'em.
zone. And they haven't, you know what I'm saying? And and Dak's going to trust them. But psychologically, at some point in time, you'd be like, Brody, I don't know about you, bro. You keep dropping stuff. So they have to also to show themselves as reliable. Like, they have to do that.
I don't think they're at that point with Dak, though.
What?
Yet. That Dak doesn't, that psychologically he doesn't pass to them. I think... honestly, too, you kind of look at the matchups and kind of how things have gone, but it goes back to what we were talking about of just, I don't think the ball distribution is there. And I feel like a broken record at this point saying it, but really, other than CeeDee Lamb, who has consistently gotten the ball at this point.
I believe our tight end usage is bottom of the league right now.
Yeah.
As far as the receptions and stuff goes. And so,
We'll see.
We'll see.
We're turning a new page. It's
Yeah.
the second trimester of the Cowboy season. Everybody.
All right, ladies, offensive line. Who has the advantage?
Tater tots. I would say the Cowboys.
Tater tots?
I mean, you look at, I'm sorry, that's a curse
You haven't
word.
heard tater tots yet?
I heard you guys say it the first time I was on here, but I didn't.
Yeah, looking at their offensive line and kind of a lot of what they do, they're not a power offensive line. They do a lot, to try to get guys in space. They also do a lot of motioning and stuff like that because I don't believe that they can just go head up with a defensive line like the Cowboys. So expect to see motion and them trying to get our guys out of gaps and also to making our line, trying to confuse our linebackers and stuff. Their offensive line they've been trying to build it. They've been trying to get some things going, and they do have some decent players over there. I think Steve Avila is over there, if I'm not mistaken, from TCU, and he was one of my favorites coming out of the draft. But he struggled because the offensive line is not just about one guy. It's about a collective, and so they're trying to find their way. I was surprised. That's why I was so surprised when I watched them against the 49ers because they blocked that thing up.
Yeah.
Like Stafford had time. If he has, they will find ways to give him time. So I think that they'll. I do think that the Cowboys have the edge there just because of schematically how they have to do things. What you think?
I can agree with that, but I also think I'd take the Cowboys only because I know Dak's been sacked, 14 times?
Has he?
I think he's been sacked. I think he's been
that
sacked
many
14
times?
times. 14 times, and the Rams have given up the
14.
sixth most amount of sacks in the league. So it's kind of like,
They better be praying.
they're both kind of even. No.
What was it yesterday? Praying
it's
and
both kind of
fasting?
even, but I think I'd have to go with. I'd go with the Cowboys. I just haven't seen the consistency, of course, when it comes to, of course, blocking and creating those holes for the run game. And the Rams either. I mean, that's why Stafford's really been inconsistent too this year, just because he hasn't had time. So
Lordy.
Yeah. I'm gonna made me do my nervous laugh.
It's crazy. I'm sorry, Jess. I'm sorry.
I can't look at you because I'm gonna laugh.
My bad, yeah.
I don't even know why we're laughing. I'm just it's one of those days.
It was Aisha. She was like, Lordy.
I'm scared. I'm scared for them a little bit.
Yeah.
Especially with him dealing with a hip.
Yeah.
Here's the thing. I've become immune to her and Aisha's
On my ad libs.
like her expressions to where it's so funny when I think about it, but I've become used to it. Okay, I'm gonna go Cowboys O-line with this one, and that's because Matt Stafford is your 8th most sacked quarterback in the league right now. He has 18 sacks on him. And here's the thing. No, he doesn't. But guess what? Like I just said, Micah Parsons isn't going to take it easy on you. Tank Lawrence is not going to take it easy on you.
Not at all.
They're going to bring the heat. And look, compared to what the Rams offensive line has to deal with, compared to what the Cowboys offensive line has to deal with, it's not on the same level. And for me, personally, I'm excited to see what officially week 3 of this cohesion looks like for this line, how important that is to build. This is when you're going to start to see what you would have seen week 3 of the season, right? And so you're kind of on a backed up time frame right now when it comes to the O-line. So you haven't seen it be consistent enough because you just haven't seen it together yet. So you're going to start to see that up and up kind of who they actually are as a unit. And so I'm going to go Cowboys O-line for this one.
Okay. All right. Let's go ahead and take a quick break, and we'll be right back here on Girls Talk, Boys Talk, presented by Jigsaw, the preferred dating partner of the Dallas Cowboys. We'll be right back.
At Jigsaw Dating, we obviously want the Cowboys to bring that 6th ring home. But to be honest, we're more focused on finding the person who will put a ring on your finger. That's why we created a dating app that reveals your face through meaningful conversation, so you can date deeper. Because it's personality that matters the most, not looks. Join Jigsaw Dating today, dating partner of the Dallas Cowboys.
You know that sound anywhere. It's the crisp crunch of that first nacho chip. With its perfect cheese to sour cream ratio sitting atop a layer of delicious beans, it's a sip away from perfection. That's what we're looking for. Add a delicious, refreshing Pepsi and we've achieved absolute nacho nirvana. Because while you can pile those nachos high with every spicy, cheesy, savory topping, there's no topping a cool Pepsi finish. Nachos, better with Pepsi. That's what I like.
Rally Days presented by SeatGeek give NFL fans an experience of a lifetime the day prior to Dallas Cowboys home games. On October 28th, enjoy activities at the Miller Lighthouse, get a behind-the-scenes tour of the AT&T Stadium, and more. Visit attstadium.com/Rally Days for more information and get your tickets.
Have you ladies been to Rally Days?
No, I have not. I've not been to Rally Days.
What is it?
I don't know. I was hoping y'all would know.
Let's see. Rally Days. No, Rally Days. I haven't been, but I've heard that they're really fun. I've had friends and family that have gone to participate. You do a whole bunch of things. It's really cool.
It's a literal day.
Like Cowboys block party.
Cowboys block party. Jazz, thanks for
Sounds
throwing
fun.
out the
Oh, it
lob.
sounds lit.
Yeah, it sounds fun.
I thought that it was a location. I thought it was like a Rally Days. This is a place. Just leave me alone.
Isn't there like a gas station that's called like Rallies or
Well,
something?
Rallies is a restaurant. It's like
Oh.
a fast food place. So I was just.
I didn't know that.
I'm sorry.
My bad.
Rallies, Checkers.
I think y'all are making this up.
I'm not.
Yeah, it's their sister
Checkers,
restaurant.
Is Checkers.
Yeah, Rallies is their sister restaurant.
Thanks, Jazz. All right. All right, let's go ahead and move this conversation forward.
Anyways.
All right. Real quick. Defensive side of the ball, ladies. Defensive line, who has the edge?
Cowboys.
Cowboys. I know Aaron Donald
Period.
is there, but
Yeah.
baby.
Yeah. All right. Linebackers.
Look, that's not being shady.
Who's playing? We don't know if Rashawn is playing.
Well, I just checked for an injury report, and I forget about the time zone difference. We haven't gotten an injury
Yes.
report yet from the Rams, so
They're
I
3
keep,
hours behind.
yes,
Okay.
yeah. So I keep
that
looking,
makes
and
sense.
there
That makes
there hasn't
sense.
been anything yet. So
So right now we're gonna go Cowboys.
I'm gonna go Cowboys at
All right,
this
bet.
point.
Yeah. I also talked to Damone too, and he says that like what's kind of helped them as a unit is the fact that they all feed off of each other.
Yeah.
That's what's really helped them kind of improve and make the strides they need to make. But I've been impressed with them all season long though. So
Yeah.
even though that room's still somewhat thin, but you've made those new additions, you know.
I think what worries me the most is they are so young, and we forget how young of a group that they are. And that's okay, because here's the thing. You're getting those in-game reps and experience that come along with it. But what gives me solace in this linebacker room was actually hearing J-Ron Kearse, not a linebacker, but hearing J-Ron Kearse talk about taking over the green dot and that communication aspect without Leighton in the game. And the way he explained how the current linebacker room, even without Leighton, is able to diagnose and communicate, makes him feel good and comfortable. Hearing that from a veteran like J-Ron Kearse says staples about what your young linebacker room is doing. So I'll go Cowboys too, but just noted that the youth is there. Yeah. The youth is there.
Yeah. I mean, I think, and they understand that too, you know, but that just means that they're taking on roles that they necessarily didn't see themselves taking on yet, but they're ready for the challenge. So, I mean, hey.
Yeah, I touched base with Damone Clark too, and we was to your point, to you ladies' points, like they are young, and with Damone especially, he told me, he was like, you know, I didn't suit up until October 30th last year. Yeah. And so he's almost, and I was like, I ain't trying to be, you know, but he's kind of a rook still in a way. Yeah. And he just was talking about, I was asking him how Rashaan Evans has helped him or whatever, and he was saying that they've connected, and they connected over the bye, and he was just saying how happy he is for his mentorship because, you know, with Leighton being out, he doesn't really have anyone to just go to like that for
and all he's had is Leighton
in a senior capacity. So to your point, I think Rashaan being here is going to really help him. Me and Damone both agreed last game was his best game. And hopefully this is something for him to continue to build upon.
All right. Ladies, let's move on to the secondary. Well, all of those guys, safeties, corners included.
Okay.
Yeah, I give the Cowboys the upper hand here. Rams got a couple they have some young guys that they're still trying to get a feel for. And just also, too, they do a lot of disguising and doing things like that. But just the way that I will say, I do like some of their nickel packages. They blitz from the nickel. They do some high stuff.
They shake it up a little bit.
Yeah, they do some high stuff. But I would give the Cowboys the upper hand as far as versatility there and their secondary. Especially with Deron Bland and Stephon being out there. Yeah. Please spare us.
With who?
Don't say it.
With who?
Oh, my God.
Who's out there?
Don't do it.
Somebody with the last name.
But go ahead and do it. I was just
because he's anything but bland. Anyways, of course I'm going to go with the Cowboys for this one. And I'm not trying to sound like a homer or anything, but I really feel confident with where this team is right now, post-bye, where they left off, pre-bye week. And I think somebody like Deron Bland, you already know. I think when somebody like Deron Bland is able to make strides that he's made, I was trying to pull up the stats here. My nails will not allow me to click on this computer fast enough. Oh my goodness. If y'all have ever had nails and you're trying to work on this computer, y'all know.
You're fine.
Leading the team right now in total tackles, 39 total tackles, Damone Clark. And then you go down and then you have, let's see, where's Deron Bland? 21 right now, but what I like the most from Deron Bland is the pass deflections that he has. He leads the team right now with that. 7 of them, 3 interceptions.
2 of those were against. He had
2 touchdowns.
Yeah, 2 almost. What's it called? 2 interceptions. Just didn't come down the ball against the Chargers. So that
And I think that's an aspect of his game that he wants to work on. Is you come down with the ball, and a pass deflection is great. And we heard about this from the assistant coaches that, look, it's great, but you're still missing the big play. So I think if they can shore up those edges, tie those knots, make them into bows, and instead of a pass deflection, you get an interception, you're in a really good spot with this DB group.
They got a lot of...
No, go ahead. Go.
They got a lot of... I will say, too, that talking to the secondary, they got a lot of respect for Stafford. He's earned that. His arm talent, and he's just not... He's not afraid. He's not afraid at all. I mean, they're 7th in yards per game. They're 16th in scoring. They're 10th in the red zone. They're good on 3rd down. And again, when you look at them, they're not a run team. Nope. They're doing all of this basically just passing the ball. And they want to push the ball downfield. They want to have big chunk plays. That's been one of the Cowboys' Achilles heels this past year as far as the secondary goes. So I do think bye week, adjustments,
Yeah.
evaluation. How do they handle because to me that's probably the secondary's biggest problem is the big plays, the big chunk plays that they've had this year. How do they respond to this? This is a perfect team to get some practice.
Yeah.
You know, and to improve there. So yeah, this Rams offense, baby, listen, they about to sling. Stafford's gonna sling the ball around. He is not afraid.
Yeah.
No, he's not.
That's something that
Tight
Mike McCarthy
windows.
said too. That he's not afraid to take hits and he can make any throw. So that's something that
He
they
also
all
needs to throw it quickly to avoid the pass rush. And with the state of how banged up he is, he's going to get that ball out quickly.
Yeah. Well,
For sure.
all right, ladies.
Or he should at least.
This will do it for Girls Talk, Boys Talk.
For
Today's episode. We'll be back tomorrow. You're watching Girls Talk, Boys Talk, presented by Jigsaw,
The preferred dating partner
Really?
of the Dallas Cowboys.
Got it.
preferred dating
did it.
partner of the Dallas Cowboys. We'll see you guys tomorrow.
This has been a production of DallasCowboys.com and the Dallas Cowboys Football Club.
How about this, Cowboys? Yeah!